let's just start with kind of what we were talking about on the phone, just kind
Sure.
of the surprise aspect of it, kind of
Yeah.
how awesome was it just to kind of when it's kind of started to dawn on you, okay,
Right.
that's got my name on it.
Yeah, well, how it started, was senior night, and the mom that put it together, Nikki Hufford's a phenomenal woman. She's a photographer in the area, does a ton of sports photography amongst other things and that for local teams and travel teams and that. And so she wanted to make senior night a little extra special. So she also had youth night along with it, and she had alumni night to get a bunch of our alumnus out here and that. And that's what I was expecting. So we're coming, we're going to honor our seniors. Unfortunately, we weren't able to play Badger that night because of field conditions and that, but we still wanted to have it because it had been set up, with all these people coming. So I showed up and I'm milling around and seeing faces and stuff, and I looked over and I saw a gentleman that I coached his daughter in travel ball, and I'm like, that's very odd. Why would he be here for a Mathews senior night, alumni and stuff like that? And then I looked around, saw a couple other odd faces that I had a connection with in softball or even in football. Had one of my original friends that I coached football with, and then it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh wow, they're doing something involving me as well, and it was a total shock. It was a huge surprise.
And once that kind of all hits, I mean, it's even the next day probably still kind of is a little bit of a shock.
Oh yeah, no, I mean. Honestly, the best thing about it was to see the faces of all the people and all the kids throughout the years. Just to see players that I coached with their babies, and then even some from like real early that have grand babies and stuff like that. So it was it was really cool. It was a great event. I think it's something along with the alumni and the youth and that we're going to continue along with our senior nights, because it turned into an event that the seniors will have memories forever. Typically on a senior night, you're getting your name announced with your parents and what you're going to do in college, and then 10 minutes later, you're playing a game. Well, this lasted, an hour and a half, and the youth kids had player cards, and they were getting autographs from the varsity players and the seniors, and, just the people milling around and talking made it really special.
And then, so it's 12 years? Total?
It's 15, including
15 total,
COVID.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
But it goes way back before that. I've
Yeah.
coached in this system since the 80s. Started out, after college. Was in North Carolina for a brief period. When I came back, I started in the football program and baseball, in the youth leagues and at the high school with football. And then, of course, had a daughter in 1996, and then in 2004 when she started playing sports, it was just natural to go to the softball end of it.
And then, so I mean, a lot of years in the system, a lot of games, a lot of stuff like that. Obviously, something like having your name on the field isn't something you really think about, right?
No, and you know what? I mean, I'm extremely honored, and I'm very humbled by it, but it's never been about me. It's been about this school, and it's been about these kids in this community. And, if they honor me with that, that's awesome. Actually, it raises the stakes with what I think I have to do as a coach and a caretaker of the program and that, which I'm happy and excited to embrace even more. I'm just me being me when I'm here. I mean, I'm very anything that I do, I try and do the best that I possibly can, and I try and instill that in my kids to strive for that in life in general. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's a great honor. I'm really appreciative.
And then obviously the school and the community, obviously you've been a part of it for so long, and
Right.
it means so much to you. What's it kind of mean to have them kind of say your name is one that we want on?
Well,
on
I mean,
something
it's
like this?
growing up when I was playing in school, and then also after when I was coaching, I've had so many mentors in different sports. Going back to Reed Lamport, my first football coach here. Norm Barron was my baseball coach. Coach Kennedy, who the high school baseball field is named after him. Just so many people that I've looked up to, and I never see myself in their level. You always see yourself. You're always looking up to somebody else, and I've always been that way. So to have people put me in that kind of light, like they know how much I care about this program, that it's tremendous. It's really nice.
I feel like a lot of times that celebration of of honoring sometimes comes after you retire. Or
Right,
when you
exactly,
come back,
yeah.
Be able to coach on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Still have obviously a talented team.
Right,
This
right.
year, and kind of the focus is all on the season.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, like I said, to me it's a pressure. It's about pressure now because I am still the coach, and it's like not in honor. You know, Robin Ray at Maplewood was a tremendous friend of mine, a coach, and unfortunately he passed this past winter. And you know, they honored him by naming Maplewood's field, you know, after Robin. And that's posthumously. You know, I'm still here and I'm still coaching, and I feel like I have an obligation to do even better to bring these kids up and build this program in the community.